Welcome, new and old friends. My name is 2482, and today, 2 got us something new to start our new day stories with. We have 6 Glitch in the Matrix stories. So grab yourself a tea or coffee. Things are about to get interesting. My goddamn phone number changed. By Anon777. Okay, so I'm a long-time lurker, never had anything happen to me before, so never posted anything. Until today. This happened last week, and I've been struggling to understand what the hell happened. I think I'm going nuts. So, I was looking at my prescription, and I see the pharmacy has the wrong number for me. I call them and tell them they have the wrong number. They advise me that my number has not been changed on their system in 5+ years, and their color display system identifies that I'm calling from the what I thought was wrong number. I'm an engineer. I understand computers can be screwy, data corruption, etc. So I just brush it off as that. So I call my doctor to see if they had changed my number. Nope. They too have the wrong number for me. Still, I'm thinking just something screwy with their systems. So next, I had to order some parts for my car, and the call handler on the other end of the line asked if they could call me back on, quote, apparently wrong number. Okay, now I'm getting a bit confused. So I called my mobile supplier and they said I've never had that number that I thought I had, and my number has always been wrong number. Okay, so now I'm getting worried I've got something wrong in my brain, so I decided to ring the number I thought I had. Some other dude answers the call. Apparently he has had this number for 10+ years. At this point, I'm starting to panic, so I message various friends and family and ask them what my number is. All of them come back with the wrong number. Please help me understand this, as I genuinely think I'm going nuts. I just want to know what the F happened. Edit. I'm very glad to have posted on this sub. The answers have been very helpful and have given me a reality check. This has helped me to confirm that I am genuinely experiencing this. I'm probably not going nuts, but the doc appointment I have this week will help confirm that. I will update the post following the tests. I have gone through every possible person and email, even 2 previous employers, who have had my number, and as far as I can tell, going back at least 15 years, I have never had the number that I thought I had. I have always been with this new number. To anyone doubting this or thinking I'm lying, thank you, genuinely, for doubting this and making me go back and double, triple check stuff. I 100% promise that this is genuine. I'm not messing around, I'm not trolling, or any other idiot just looking for some internet points. I am genuinely struggling to accept what I believe has happened, and I'm just looking for answers. My keys glitched. By Anonymous. Hey guys, long-time reader, first-time poster. I think I may have experienced a glitch in the Matrix today at work. I went to grab my keys off the hook in my locker, as I do every day, but they weren't there. I thought maybe they fell, so I looked in the bottom of my locker, but, no keys. At this point, I slowly took everything out of my locker and shook it out. Literally everything. Still, no keys. I was starting to think maybe I took them home by accident. So I started to reorganize my locker and put everything back. That's when I heard my keys hit the bottom of the locker. They had nowhere to fall from. There was literally nothing in my locker at that point. Long story short, my keys glitched and they appeared out of thin air. My Neighbor's Cat is Glitching by Riyalistic. Background info. I moved to my new place about 3 months ago. It's a small gated area with a cluster of about 10 to 15 really big houses and 4 families living in each house. I've never really communicated with any of my neighbors in this community, but I know that one of them has a cat. I know this because they let that cat loose during the daytime and let him wander around the gated community. I don't really know what his real name is, so I'll call him Garfield. He's hard to miss, a plump cat with a whitish-orange coat and a weird red and white striped collar, almost like a bag of popcorn. Also, recently, he limps when he walks. Location. I live on the ground floor of the big house, so my porch lies directly on the ground, i.e., there is no elevation at all, so you can jump in and out of it. Also, the sides of the porch are guarded by black metallic bars spaced about half a foot apart, wide enough for a medium-sized animal to squeeze through. The right side of the field of view from my porch is cut off quite sharply, as I am located on the end of the road and there is a house to my right positioned at an almost 90-degree angle to mine. The left side of my field of view extends quite far, along a road that continues almost endlessly towards the left of my porch. This road is lined with my house. Behind my row of houses is a forest. So, Garfield comes from one of the houses towards the other end of the road and ends up on my porch every afternoon to lie in the sun. I'm not sure why Garfield chooses my porch in particular, but I don't mind it. I come outside to pet him, and we're friends now. This has happened every afternoon for the past 3 months, but the weirdest thing happened to him last week, and I can't explain it. As usual, I'm sitting outside and I see him emerge from the house at the other end of the road, and comes out for his daily stroll. It's unmistakably Garfield, a limping white-orange ball with a red and white collar. I'm waiting for him on my porch, but as he arrives, he looks towards me and hisses. He's a very calm cat, and this isn't like him at all. He then runs away towards my right out of my field of view and behind my house. This is something I've never seen him do before and was especially surprising to me because he was limping. Before I had time to process what happened, almost instantly from my left field of view, I see Garfield emerge from his house again, all the way on the end of the road, limping again and calmer than ever, proceeding on his daily walk. He walked over to my porch and laid down, as he always does, completely back to normal. There is no way that he managed to vanish out of my right field of view that quickly, go behind my house, through the forest, and reach his house on the opposite end of the road and exit it again, all within 1 second. I also don't understand why he was behaving so weirdly the first time, or how he got over his limp. Seems glitchy to me. I Lost My Daughter Glitch by Meiftie. Hey, so this just happened and I have an eerie and weird feeling that something is not right. So first let me explain the placement of my house. When you come in, there is a little hall, and in front of you is the bathroom. Then you go to the left, and you have a small kitchen. Then a door, then it's my bedroom, but it's so big I turned it into a living room. Right next to my bedroom is my daughter's bedroom. Everything is in an L shape. I, 24, live alone with my daughter, 2, and our 2 pet bunnies. So I had lunch with my daughter, and it started getting cold and dark, so we went to my bedroom and closed the door to the kitchen. She always plays in my bedroom and her bedroom that are directly connected. I was reading some Reddit stories while I listened to her making her usual noises, talking to her, singing, asking me something, moving toys around, the basic child noises. Suddenly, the house goes completely silent. And after a few seconds, I think that maybe she's being mischievous and doing something that she isn't supposed to, like all kids do. So I check on her since I didn't see her from where I was lying. Let me make it clear that there is no way for her to go outside without opening the creaky door to the kitchen that is in front of me, and she would never try to do it since the lights in the kitchen are off and she's scared of the dark. So I look everywhere in her bedroom and start calling her name. Nothing. Check in her closet. Nothing. Under her bed. In her little play tent. In her toy chest. Under my bed. The sofa. My desk. Everywhere. Nothing. She is nowhere to be seen. Let's mention that she has never tried to hide and stuff like that. She comes when she's called, so I started to freak out. I knew I didn't hear her leave my bedroom to the kitchen, but I checked anyways. Nothing. The bathroom. Empty. Now, I'm starting to panic and go outside again and check everything over. While I'm in her bedroom, I hear crying from outside and look through my daughter's window to see her outside, laying on the ground, only wearing a t-shirt. Not the t-shirt she was previously wearing, but one of the t-shirts she does have. I ran outside, almost falling over, but when I opened the door, silence. She wasn't there. There was no crying. Silence again. I go outside and check everything and can't find her or any trace of her being there. Defeated, I go back upstairs ready to call 911 when I go to my bedroom and see her calmly playing with some blocks in her bedroom. She was wearing her clothes as if she'd never disappeared. The t-shirt I saw her wearing outside was in her wardrobe, neatly folded. I'm still in shock and sitting, staring at my daughter, feeling like if I blink, she might disappear again. Glitch or Doppelganger by Nattikinz. I'm a high school teacher. Several years ago, my husband and I took a weekend trip to San Antonio for our one last getaway before the school year began. One evening, as we sat down at Joe's Crab Shack, I noticed that a boy in the family we sat next to looks a lot like one of my students from 2 years prior. I didn't want to stare long enough to be sure, though, that it was him. However, a while into the meal, I heard the young girl, who I assumed to be the sister, call this boy by the name of my student. It's not a common name. I turned quickly now to look at him, and they all looked at me curiously. "Are you CS?" I asked. "No," they replied. "Oh, I'm sorry," I said. "I just heard her say K, and I taught a KC 2 years ago." "Oh," they cut in. "This is KC," the father said, pointing at the boy. He smiled quietly, as was characteristic of him. "This is KC," he said again, "but we aren't the C's. He's been saying you look like his teacher," one of them, can't remember which one, said. "Well, guess what?" I said, smiling at KC. "I'm teaching juniors this year, so I might get you again." He was still smiling, and the sister now had him in a playful headlock. "I hope we don't get any bad notes home this year," the mother said. I told them that while I don't remember KC being a problem himself, he had been in one of the most hyper classes, and I might have sent a few notes home to many of the boys' parents that year. We then reviewed how crazy the class had been, and the student nodded in agreement when I laughingly mentioned some of the names of his classmates. So, that was that, and we said goodbye when we left. At the beginning of the school year, about a month after our trip, I did end up with Casey on the roster. On the first day of school, I mentioned seeing him on the River Rock. He said nothing until I mentioned it again later, and this time he said, "That wasn't me." I questioned him, not just that day, but for several days, because he stuck to his story. He had never been the River Rock that summer. He even swore to God, and he never swore to God, he said. I emailed his mom to make doubly sure, explained that I knew it was a strange inquiry, but I had to put my mind to rest. She emailed me back and assured me he had never been in San Antonio that summer, and had been taking care of his little sister while she, Mom, was at work that very evening I thought I saw him. Also, she was white and had no husband, nor there a male figure in Casey's life at the time. The Casey's parents I saw at the River Rock were black, and the only sister Casey has is much younger than this girl at the River Rock. So the mystery remains unsolved. Was it just a coincidence and there was another Casey who looks just like my Casey? And who was the teacher that looked like me? Or did I cross into a parallel universe where Casey was in San Antonio with a couple that wasn't his parents? Or did Casey unknowingly bilocate? LOL. He said he was supposed to have been in San Antonio that very week with a good friend, but didn't go. I'm afraid I may never know, but it's something to think about. "2 Hours Gone in a Blink" by SkeetsDatadroid. I've never put much stock in these glitch in the matrix type stories until it happened to me. Let me start off by saying that I'm 38 years old, and after several years of a persistent viral infection called cellulitis that requires an IV antibiotics to treat, left me with kidney disease. Yippee. With my kidneys pretty much useless, I started dialysis 3 days a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, at 4 hours a pop. Treatment consists of being hooked up to a machine that pulls the blood from your body, cleans it with a combination of filters and chemicals, and then returns it to you via a 10-min catheter in the chest. On the day in question, I arrived at my usual time at 10:30 a.m., and after waiting in the waiting room, watching the last half hour of The Price is Right, get called in for the temperature and weight check. After getting the all clear from the reception nurse, I head to my designated chair, lucky number 7, and sit down to be hooked up to the machine. As I get prepped, I chat with the nurse technician about this and that, and after she leaves me for my treatment, I plug my cell phone and pull out my lunch bag from my duffel. Pulling out a Capri Sun pouch from my chilled bag, I stick the straw in and take a couple of sips while swallowing the pills they normally give. Mainly vitamin D, then put the pouch down on the built-in table attached to the armrest. Phone in hand and Bluetooth headphones on my head, I decide to watch a movie to pass the time and load up the Prime Video app, and choose Avengers Endgame from my library. The film begins with the decimation event, aka the blimp, taking Hawkeye's family and then switching to deep space and the rescue of Tony Stark and Nebula by Captain Marvel. Then I blink a couple of times and have to keep my eyes closed because of a searing pain, almost like having lemon juice squeezed into your eyes. After a few seconds of rubbing my eyeballs with the back of my hand, the pain subsides, and I go back to the phone in my hand only to see the credits rolling. Thinking that I must have touched the screen during my eyes closed moment, I move the timeline back to begin where I was and continue to watch. Without looking away from the screen, I reach to my right to grab the juice pouch from the table, only to find it empty and flattened, with all the juice sucked out like I normally do. At this point, I was very puzzled. I wondered if I fell asleep, which has been known to happen, especially during dialysis, but then what happened to my juice? I distinctly remember taking just enough to swallow a Tic Tac-sized pill, and what caused that pain when I blinked. I asked the nurse if I fell asleep for a couple hours, and she shook her head and told me I was watching something on my phone and barely acknowledged her when she came over to take blood pressure reading, as they do every half an hour or so. So now I have this missing 2-hour gap in my day and no idea what happened to cause it. Any ideas? I do hope you enjoyed these stories today. Tell me which story was your favorite. If you're a new friend, become an old friend by subscribing and turning that pretty little bell to all notifications. If you want to listen to an audio version, then check out my podcast. On the screen, you can see all my socials, my Patreon, and my merch. I also have a tree link in the description to help you find everything about me. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.